What's up guys, Marco here and welcome to today's super exciting video where I want to share an extremely important tip or strategy when it comes to really scaling and improving your business, your e-commerce business in 2018 and beyond. Now, before you wonder why I chose this strange title, just a tiny little bit of backstory. I was just talking to two of my clients, so one client, a business of two people today, and I was basically telling them about the video I'm planning to do because the topic of the video was already fixed and I had it in mind. But then they told me how important this really is. So they literally told me that the strategy or the tip that I'm sharing here today is something that they believe had one of the biggest impacts in their business and allowed them to make over $1 million in total sales already. And this is where I then thought, okay, let's actually give it that title. If they just told me that it's so super important that it was one of the major reasons for their 7 figures, I decided to put it in the title so that it really puts a lot of emphasis on this whole thing. So this being said, guys, what do I mean with that? And when it comes to math and creativity or math and art, what is it behind that? Well, it is extremely important because if you look at this, your e-commerce business kind of has two different angles, right? Especially the advertising part. First of all, we have the math part, and this is kind of everything related to business managers and settings and bidding strategies and how to bid and how much you spend and how you scale and all those technical things in a way, whether you use Google ads or Facebook ads, all those things that you use on a daily basis probably to improve your ads and have a look at your impressions and clicks and conversions, CPA, etc., etc. Very important, but just one part of the equation. Now on the second hand, we have the art part or the creative part, and this is everything that, as the name says already, has some sort of creative part inside it. So for example, when you create your ad visuals, or when you develop your sales copy for your ad, or when you write your product descriptions, or when you design your store, all these things that have a very, very big impact, but that are often kind of neglected by many e-commerce businesses. And the point of this video is that you need to have a very, very good balance between the two. Because what I see in e-commerce these days with many people is that they put a ton of focus on the math part, because I understand why it's usually less work to play around with the numbers on Facebook and research audiences than it is to create great advertising visuals and write great sales copy. But the point is, you need both, and both needs to be very good if you want to succeed in dropshipping in a major way, not just making a handful of sales. So the reason this is of course, a lot of people actually know how to do basic Facebook ads, but not a lot of people are actually building the content, the ads and the landing pages, etc., that it takes to really build a successful business. So when I say that both of them need to be balanced, usually it means that you should put more focus on the ad part, the landing page part, the creative part, the copywriting part, than on the pure business manager settings part. Especially if you have just a small budget, let's say $10 per day, $20 per day. Usually you cannot spend that much effort on your advertising itself with that low of a budget. So when I, for example, take on a new client and they're spending $200 a day, yeah, sure, then you can create multiple ads, you can develop a funnel, you can test multiple things, and then you can really spend some more time in this, especially of course if you spend $500, $1,000, $2,000 per day. But with a tiny budget, I can definitely say that your effort is better invested in doing those creative things and testing multiple ad angles, multiple copies, landing pages, etc., instead of just spending all your time in there. So I see, like I said, majority of people are in the math part of it. Very few people also do the other extreme, which means they have some great ad ideas, they have some great landing pages, but they just don't know how to use Google and Facebook the right way, and they just set up very strange campaign objectives, and they don't really know how to read their data, etc. Something like this exists as well, and it's also very, very bad if you do that. But the point is, it's just less frequent as the other extreme. So people that are only looking at stats and data are way more appear way more often these days than the other one. And as I said now multiple times, the important thing is to balance the two and put a focus on the creative part if you didn't so far. So here's a little tip how it just may look like if you do that. So let's say you have a product that is already selling or some where you think it has some good potential. What you do is you pick the top products in your store and you really dedicate some time to write in-depth product descriptions. So you test all kinds of things, you really take more than like 5 minutes per product to write a really good sales copy, and maybe you spend like 1 or 2 hours doing all of them, and you may think that is a lot of time, but in fact now your best products have really good product descriptions and it will definitely help you. And then you go to your ads and you think about 3 different ad angles. Probably you want to do one carousel ad, you want to do one video ad, and you want to do one like other type of ad, maybe a single image or something. And you really take the time to come up with some great product image. It doesn't always have to be like your product, white background, sales price on it. It can also be a picture that has nothing to do with the actual product or just broadly related to it, but very good sales copy below it, or you use a carousel ad with multiple products, but some like outstanding or out-of-the-box headlines on each of them. Probably you do a video ad where you either pay someone to do it or you do it yourself, or you find a good one on the internet that you can use. But the point is, play with the creatives, play with the headlines, play with the content, etc., etc. And when an angle works, then you can really use the data-driven way. You can go to the Facebook algorithm and say, hey, I want to now use manual bidding, now I want to do automated bidding, now I want to increase my bid, now I want to do this, now I want to exclude devices, etc., etc. But this doesn't make sense too early on. Like whenever I see people that after 8 clicks they determine that now they only should do desktop and now they only should use this placement because after 8 clicks one of them worked better, this almost never works. Like you cannot tell whether something is going good or bad after that few clicks. And this is the point, guys. It makes sense to split test and test in general, test creatives and all these things early on, so that later on you can literally focus on those data-driven things that are actually very important as well. So I know that probably this is not exactly what you wanted to hear, because as I said, it's easier to just focus on the data part than it is to focus on the other stuff, which actually requires more work. But the point is that those of you willing to invest that time and that effort will definitely see a very, very good ROI from that. And I just have an example for you from one of my courses, so my training program, where someone who just joined less than a week ago, he went through all the different videos, and it was actually my high ticket course, and I have one full video about 20 minutes about Facebook ad copywriting, right? So where I talk about how to write copy, how to write headlines, descriptions, how to write all these different things on a Facebook ad, and he was like, well, I didn't know that you should spend so much time on writing your Facebook ad, right? To me it was always just, hey, buy it now, 50% off, etc., etc. And he was totally confused why I spent so much time and effort writing this. And I was just like, well, if you want to stand out on Facebook and if you want to pre-sell, because the job of the ad is not only to send people to your site, but also to kind of pre-sell and pre-qualify them so that when they go to your site, they're actually somewhat fired up already and they are much more interested in your product and not just curious what hides behind this ad and willing to see your page. They're already somewhat pre-sold if you do a very, very good Facebook ad or also a Google search ad here. So this is where he was kind of confused why I spent that much time, but he also applied these principles and sees that at least, the add to cart and the purchase rate after that is higher versus, just clickbaiting people to your site and having these very average ads of buy now and do these kind of things. So this is just an example of how it can definitely help and how many people are not even aware of the fact that you should focus your time on that and be creative with those things so that you can take your business to the next level. And as those clients told me that they do it in their business all the time since day one, that they always focus on creating an ad first, focus on putting the right pictures out and having the right content before they then go to audience manager, etc., etc. I just believe that this is exactly what I told them, and they were just confirming how important that was for their business since all the time they have been in business actually. So this is why I decided this is very important for you today. So I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that you now understand why I call this the $1 million strategy or $1 million tip. It sounds a little generic, but it can definitely be applied to every business, and it's definitely important that all of you think about it and hopefully also implement it, if not at least like parts of it, so that you spend a little more effort on creating like landing pages, ads, etc, etc. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and also subscribe to this channel if you want to see more e-commerce content, more e-commerce tips, marketing, Facebook ads, Google ads, high ticket dropshipping, etc. Would be great if you subscribe so that you won't miss any video. This being said, really appreciate that you watched this video today. If you want to learn more about selling products successfully, especially high-ticket products, you may have a look at my high-ticket masterclass in the description. Or if your focus is Google Ads and you have a business where you now want to add Google to your marketing mix, check out the Google eCom PPC Academy in the description as well. This being said, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I hope that I will see you in the next video. And until then, bye-bye and all the best with your business.